Alright guys, if you're just coming in, we're going to be doing our part 3 of our TrendSpider walkthrough. In this video, we're going to be talking about their multi-time frame analysis tool that you use with their indicators, along with their auto Fibonacci drawing tool. So since the Fibonacci drawing tool is very simple, there's really nothing to talk about, I'm going to be going over some tips and tricks on how to use Fibonacci in your trading. So first off, I'm going to start with the Fibonacci. So to turn on their auto Fibonacci, you just go to the auto fib, go ahead and click that. And it's going to take the most relevant Fibonacci high and low. So for this move here, we're taking the previous swing high of around 12,000 and we're pulling it all the way down to the swing low around 95. Now, one thing I do recommend to the TrendSpider team is that they make it so these lines connect to the wicks instead of the bodies. Because in my typical trading, I use the highest point and the lowest point. So whatever that highest point and lowest point is, that is how I draw my Fibonacci. The auto Fibonacci tool doesn't really give you any settings. They're probably going to release some settings in the future to do wicks or bodies. But currently it does the bodies, which isn't that big of a price difference, but every little difference matters. But yeah, so we took the most recent swing high, the lowest swing low, and that gives you your Fibonacci. So since this is a downward move, you're going to be looking at a sell zone. If it's an upward move, you're going to be looking at a buy zone. So my tips on how to use Fibonacci is there's a sweet spot where the golden pocket is. The golden Fibonacci is the 0.618. That is the golden ratio. That is going to be your strongest level on your Fibonacci tool. So what I recommend doing is when you have a impulse move down and you're looking for an area to sell, which is going to be that sell zone, that's going to be between the 50% and the 618. This little zone right here. So on the TrendSpider tool, it actually highlights the zone in between the 382 and the 618. That's actually not that bad. It's going to be a bigger buy and sell zone than I typically use, but it's not that bad. I consider the 382 the soft fib, meaning that if this downward move would like to continue downward, you need to see a lot of resistance at that 382 level. So when we popped up here, if it was very likely to continue downward, it needed to fail that 382. So it popped up a little higher and started to fail that sell zone, which is even, I wouldn't say better in this scenario, but it could definitely be a strong sell signal. So if you had your shorts in that sell zone, typically what I do is I look for the 50% of that sell zone. So if you take the 50% of that entire zone, it will give you a nice little area to start selling. You would have got filled almost perfectly on that candle there, and then you failed downward. And you just target the lower fibs. You target the 236, you target the 0, and then you can target a lower breakout. So if this were an up move, you would be looking at So if this were an up move here, you can see the pullback to the 618 right here. So you have that perfect test of that sell zone, or excuse me, that buy zone, and then you bounce back up and you hit your fib targets. You have your 382, the 236, but then you do not hit your 0 line. So you could have taken profit twice on that trade, but you wouldn't have gotten your full potential. So if you're doing an impulse up, you're looking for a buy zone between the 618 and the 50% retracement. It doesn't show currently on this tool, but it is somewhere around here. And then if you're looking for, let me delete this really fast. If you're looking for a sell signal, you're looking for an impulse move down and a pop up to that 50% to 618. So those are my tips for the Fibonacci tool. Now we're going to go into the multi-time frame analysis tool. So for this to work, you have to have your indicators turned on, and you also have to have some indicators selected. So right now I'm using the midpoint indicators, and I'm also using an 100 EMA. The other things that I'm currently using are the Alpha Trends VWAPs, but those are currently turned off. So I have another tip for you guys. So currently the TrendSpider team has not implemented Ichimoku into their indicator list. I have discussed with them about them bringing this onto their platform, and they said that it will be released pretty soon. I have a tip for you if you are an Ichimoku trader. This will not work for the cloud, so you're not going to be able to put the cloud on your chart, but what you can do is use these midpoint tools to get your conversion and baselines. So if you know the Ichimoku formula, the conversion and baselines are based on the midpoint of that set range. So the Tenkan line, also known as the conversion line, uses 9 periods, and it gets the midpoint. It takes the highest value, the lowest value, and then it finds the midpoint of those values. So you can take the midpoint indicator, use length 9, and that will give you the conversion line. And then the baseline, or the Kaijun line, you can use 26, and that will give you the Kaijun line. So okay, so now that we have our indicators chosen, right now I'm using the 2 midpoints. I can also turn on the EMA. So let's do them one by one so you can see how this works. So right now, this is the midpoint 9 indicator. You can see how everything right here is grayed out. That just means I'm not showing it on the chart. So if I want to show just the daily, I can click on the daily. If I want to show the weekly, I can click the weekly. Another really cool thing about this is when you have them both turned on, it gives you both prices. So you can see if my cursor is here, the 100 EMA on the daily is 9,800. The 100 EMA on the weekly is 67.57. So it gives you both values on the left side here. So for right now, I'm going to turn that off. So what you're also going to see is you're going to see the shorter time frame is going to have the full line, and the longer time frame is going to have the dotted line. They also have little arrows on the end too. So this is my daily, this is my weekly, and then you have the dotted or the arrow there to show you that that's the weekly. Now, if you want to change your time frames, you can go up here to the top left, and you can go ahead and change your time frame. So if you want to do like a 4-hour and a daily, you can do that. If you want to do a daily and a weekly, you can do that. Another thing you can do with the multi-time frame analysis, you can go to the accent. It has 4 different variations: primary, secondary, both, and neither. Primary is going to color your shorter time frame very dark. Your longer time frame is going to be very, very shaded. You're not going to be able to see it. It's not going to pop out very much. It's going to be pretty transparent. If you do that for secondary, it's going to do the same thing, but for the longer time frame. The longer time frame is going to be lighter, and the shorter time frame is going to be more transparent. If you go to both, they're going to be the same level of transparency. And then if you go to neither, it's going to make them both very transparent. So right now I'm going to use both. That seems to be the best option. And that will give you this here. So as you can see, I can throw on all my indicators. And it's very easy to tell which ones are my weekly levels and which ones are my daily levels. Very easy. And another thing you can do here with the multi-time frame analysis, once you have all the indicators on your chart, you can quickly right-click on these lines and you can create alerts on the different lines. So you can create an alert there on the weekly line. I can create an alert here on the daily line, and it knows what time frame that I'm creating these alerts on. So it automatically sets your alerts for those time frames. So you can see here we have the daily versus weekly, and then you have the weekly there. Very easy, very simple. You can do this with any indicator they have on their indicator list. They have a very robust amount of indicators. There are a few that I've recommended to them that they need to add, especially Ichimoku, because Ichimoku is a very widely used indicator. It's probably the only massively used indicator that they don't have. All the other ones like RSI, MACD, they have those available to you. But that is it for this video. Very short, nothing too fancy about using the multi-time frame analysis or the Fibonacci tool. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments and I'll get to them as soon as possible. If you guys look in the top left, I do have a promo code. If you guys would like to upgrade your TrendSpider subscription, feel free to use that promo code for 15% off. Also, if you guys look in the description of this video, I will be doing a webinar with the TrendSpider team this Monday, September the 16th, on raindrops and the strategy tester, which is also what our next and final video is going to be on. So starting tomorrow, we're going to do the strategy tester and raindrop walkthrough. So if you guys would like to see that, come by my stream at 3 p.m. Eastern, or you can wait for the video to be released on YouTube. But all right, guys, I appreciate you guys being here. If you guys like the content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys tomorrow.